Hi, welcome to the fourth part of the money and interest lecture of the Introduction to Economics course. I am sorry for the abrupt ending in the previous parts. We have reached to the 15 minutes mark basically there. So we were talking on what will happen if the Jack here would get a loan. Well, so if he gets a loan first, which means actually he gets the money, and that money might be either in his pocket. In that case, we should say $5,000 in the pocket of the Jack, or alternatively, he might put the money he got as the loan into the bank initially, at least. In that case, that would mean to this $10,000 we have added a new $5,000 basically. So in general, we will have $15,000 in the Citibank. So also Jack will have a $5,500 student loan payment to Wells Fargo. Of course, we might say, why would he got this $500 additional payment to get just a $5,000 loan, which needs to be also paid anyway. But again, here we have the time differences between the money Jack wants to use and money Jack needs to pay. Basically, Jack might think in 1 month or 2 months he will get the money back, but he might need to spend the money immediately for certain needs. So that's what we will see in the next part. Well, he goes to Las Vegas. Actually, this is a more interesting thing, and he wins $10,000. That's additional to what the money he puts. So since this $10,000 doesn't come with any debt, this $10,000 will be directly added to only to the assets, not to the liability of the Jack. So to the initial $1,500 checking account money. Now we have an additional $10,000. So total amount of money will be $25,000 in the checking account. And then he pays this $25,000 to pay the debt for the car. No, not debt for the car, debt to the hospital. So in that case, both of this money in the checking account, this money, and the debt to the hospital will be cancelled. So we are just left with the value of the house, value of the car, debt for the car, and the student loan payment in assets and liability parts of the check, basically. So the main point is, if the value of the house and value of the car exceeds the debt of the car and the student loan debt of Jack, in that case, the net wealth of Jack is positive. If the liabilities, the debts are greater than the assets, in that case, the net wealth of Jack is negative. Again, this tells just the half of the story. The time of the utilization of those assets and liabilities is also important, but still it tells something on Jack. It doesn't tell complete picture. It shows complete picture of Jacks, but it tells something on Jack. This T account. The T accounts can also be built for the banks and central bank also, and actually to any entity or person. Usually for the actual entities, the banks and the central bank, it is more simple because it has a more typical classical parts. For individuals, it could be more. It could have more parts. It could be more, let's say, heterogeneous in that sense. But for an individual, you can understand it maybe better because it is the usual type of, let's say, things that have value and things people have as debt as individuals. Those things are, for individuals, the entities are very common to everyday person. But when we come to the bank, in that case, the entities will be looked upon from a different perspective, And if you are not familiar with the banks, you might not know that perspective well. But if you know at least from this part how the T account works in general, I think it would be easier for you to apply it to the banks. We won't see the T account for the central bank, although in more advanced economics courses you can also see that. Anyway, let's go down. Well, as a first point, we will talk on the roles of the money. First, it's a unit of accounting, which basically means that if we want to add up value of the different things, as we have seen in case of house and car, we want to adapt their values, even though the person has not sold it and they are not actually converted to money. When we are willing to find their values, we convert them to the money. And that money is today Turkish lira or dollar, but at an earlier time it can be turned into its equivalent value of gold, silver, iron. Maybe it at the ancient time it could also be turned to grain or wool even. So whatever we use as money, that's the whatever we use as money for unit of accounting, the value of everything else is calculated by that good or that, let's say, entity. In Marx, for example, Marxian economics, labor is used as an entity with which value of the goods are used. I mean, how much labor you need to produce them. That's one thing. The second function is medium of exchange. So it makes the exchange process easier, as we have talked about, because everyone is willing to accept money and everyone can give money. The third function is store of value. It helps to accumulate wealth. I mean, you can, if you want to store your wealth in forms of, for example, bread can decay very fast. If you want to store it in terms of furniture can also decay, and also you might not find easily to use furniture to buy things. But well, at earlier times, grains, and then the metals, and now the actual banknotes, they can retain their actual buying power in the market because they don't perish and because their value in the market is also more or less fixed. And note that if for one reason or the other, if the actual banknotes of a country, actual money of a country, I mean money unit of a country, might lose one or more of those functions. For example, if it loses its value fast, it loses its function store of value at time of high inflations. In that case, another currency, or if you cannot find that currency, a commodity like gold, or even houses, for example, might be the main tool people use to maintain the value of their income. For example, my parents experience a high inflationary era, and they always think that the money you earn should be basically used to buy houses. Those houses, the value of houses always rise up. So basically, you can maintain the value of your money in form of houses when you buy houses or apartments, basically. Similarly, if the value of the money is changing too much, in that case, you can use another currency like dollar to accounting, basically. I mean, to add up value of different things, especially if the monetary, I mean, the prices are changing too fast. This might be a way to do that. Anyway, these are well, the roles of the money. Now we can come to the type of money. The first type of money is the commodity money. That's the money we have talked about. I mean, that money has also a function outside of the financial system, monetary system. So even if it is not used as money, it has other functions, basically. Gold is used to make people more beautiful. I mean, it's called pieces, called jewelry. Um, And it's also used to some extent in production because it doesn't lose this. It is not decaying fast, basically. And you can also have gold teeth, for example, in your arms because it's not that much poisonous. I think I don't know exact reason. Grain is one example which is used which has many function basically. It is a lot of function. Grain and wool, for example, or linen. The second type of money is commodity-backed money. That's a banknote, which can be converted to a commodity. That was pretty much most of the banknotes up to the 1970s. And then you have fiat money, that's current money, a banknote that cannot be converted to a specific commodity, basically. Well, here are the money types we have seen up to this point in the history part also. So after this point, however, we will see certain other types of money which we have not seen in the history part. First, checkable deposits. And here we come to the other thing that is used as money. This card can have actually I can use this card to buy different things. So basically, the deposits in the bank that are represented by this card are also money. Aren't they a paper money anyway? You might think those deposits are representing the paper money, fiat money in the bank. Not necessarily, because if the sum of checkable deposits in a bank is 100 Turkish lira, for example, the bank lends most of this money, 80, for example, 80 Turkish lira. So the actual value of the checkable deposits is not equal to the actual money, fiat money, in the bank. So, which means checkable deposits is kind of like the banknotes in the earlier era. I put the money into the bank, and I can use the money without taking the actual paper fiat money from the bank using this card. And the person who is accepting this money with this card is trusting the bank. So basically, it accepts this card. It trusts the bank that in actually sending the money I have in checkable deposit I have in my account to his account. I mean the fiat money from my account to his account. So basically, the checkable deposits in the bank is a money is a different form of money compared with the fiat money, because it is actually the amount of checkable deposits which a bank has or people in a certain bank have is larger than the amount of fiat money in that bank. And then you have near money. That's other types of financial assets, like for example stocks, basically, or government bonds. I mean, which are actually government bonds is a piece of paper that and that with that paper you can take money from the government regularly, and at that of a certain period, a certain fixed amount back. So those things can also be used as money. So if I have a government bond, I can sell that government bond to someone else. I can use it like money. So those things are called near money. So checkable deposits, and then you have near money as another type of money. This checkable deposit type, this checkable deposit case will be, I believe, clearer in the coming parts. I will mention it again when that part comes. So now we are close to the 15 minutes mark. So I want to be quick in that sense. Well, I described the checkable deposits. So they are backed by the fiat money. You can take the money anytime you wish from the bank. However, people are not taking the money, but just use certain cards and paper to transfer the money from one account to another account. So checkable deposits become a form of money by themselves. So we will talk more on the money in the economic system in the coming part. See you in the coming part of this course, this lecture.